Beloved soul, you have found yourself here today not by accident, but by divine arrangement. Something in your spirit has been stirring. A quiet whisper that keeps returning to you, no matter how busy life becomes. And now heaven is leaning close, as if to say, the wedding is set. But there is more to this story than you expect. Listen closely, for the next moments are not ordinary words. They are a gentle unfolding of what your heart has been longing to hear. The angels stand at the edge of your future, watching as the final preparations are made. The place is chosen, the vows are written. The day is marked on heaven's calendar, not just on yours. Everything in the physical world says it is already done, and yet, God whispers, there is one last thing I must do before you take their hand. You see, beloved, God's plans are never rushed. And when it comes to covenant, when it comes to two souls becoming one under His covering, there are details only He can arrange. This is not a delay. This is not a disruption meant to harm you. This is a final movement, a sacred rearranging in the invisible realm, so that when you stand before each other, there will be no shadow of doubt, no hidden wound left unhealed, no lingering fear that could shake the foundation of what God is building. The angels say, right now, your steps are already being ordered toward that day. Your name and their name have been spoken together in heaven's halls. Your story has been rehearsed by the hosts of heaven, like a song they love to sing. But in the final hour, something will happen that no one expects. Not your family, not your friends, not even the one you are preparing to marry. It will be as if God Himself steps into the room and changes the atmosphere with a single breath. Beloved, I need you to understand, this moment will not be meant to harm you, but to seal what is already yours. It will be the kind of holy interruption that makes everyone pause, look up, and sense that something bigger than human plans is unfolding. It might come as a revelation. It might come as a sudden sign. It might come as a word spoken through someone who does not even know why they are speaking it. But it will come, and when it does, you will understand why God asked you to trust Him with every detail, even the ones you thought were already finished. See, the last-minute changes of heaven are not like the last-minute changes of man. When man changes plans, it often comes from uncertainty or lack of preparation. But when God changes something, even in the very last moment, it is because He has seen every angle of the story, every ripple of the future. Every prayer you have whispered when no one was listening. Beloved, your wedding is not just a ceremony. It is a divine appointment. It is a joining of two journeys into one path that will ripple into eternity. This is why the angels are so watchful. This is why heaven is so invested. And this is why, in the final hour, God will do what only He can do, to protect, to purify, and to prepare. You might feel a little unsettled when it happens. You might look at the clock and think, we are running out of time. But in that moment, remember this word. Remember that God told you in advance. It is not a delay. It is a sealing. Beloved, your role right now is not to control the timing, but to stay anchored in trust. Do not let anxiety speak louder than faith. Do not let the noise of other people's opinions drown out the still, steady voice of God. The one God has prepared for you is also being prepared for you. This final moment will confirm it in a way that no ring, no vow, no ceremony alone could ever do. Pause for a moment and imagine it. The day has come. You are clothed in the beauty of peace. The air feels heavy with something you can't describe, but your spirit knows it is holy. And then, it happens, the unexpected. The thing no one planned for. At first, a breathless silence. Then, a ripple of awe. And finally, a sense that God's hand has just marked this marriage in a way that no human could. This is not just about romance, beloved. This is about assignment. This is about destiny. Your marriage is not simply for your joy, though. Joy will overflow. It is for the kingdom. It is for the light of God to be made visible in the way you love, in the way you walk together, in the way you forgive, endure, and overcome together. So when the last-minute surprise comes, remember, heaven knew it was coming all along, and you will smile, even through the shock, because you will recognize your Father's touch. Beloved, if this word has already begun to stir something in your spirit, hold on to it, pray into it. And if you feel led, share in the comments what you are believing God for. Sometimes when you speak your faith aloud, heaven moves even faster to bring it to pass. If you are new here, I invite you to subscribe so we can keep walking together in these peaceful moments with God. And if this message has been a blessing, you can help it reach more weary hearts by sharing it with someone who needs a gentle word today. For those who feel prompted, a super thanks is more than just support. It becomes part of the seed that allows these words to keep flowing into the world. Every gift, every prayer, every share, it all matters. Now breathe. Let your shoulders drop. Rest in the knowing that the wedding is already set in heaven's book. And the surprise that comes last minute? It will be the exclamation mark at the end of a story that only God could write. The angels are already watching. Heaven is already singing. And soon, beloved, you will stand in the place God has prepared for you. And know, beyond all doubt, that you are exactly where you are meant to be, beloved soul. Let us walk a little further together. The angels are not finished speaking, yet in the quiet hours before dawn, there's a stirring in the spirit realm. It is as though heaven is making final touches on a masterpiece, and your life is the canvas. The wedding is set. The vows are written. In more than ink, they are written in faith, in prayer, in the long patient work of God. And yet, the final hour holds a mystery that will awaken everyone who sees it. It will not be chaos. It will not be confusion. It will be the holy weight of God's presence pressing into the moment, as though eternity itself steps into time to bless what is about to happen. I know you have waited. I know there were seasons when you thought this day might never come. I know there were nights when you cried into your pillow, asking God if He had forgotten the promise He whispered to you long ago. But now, heaven leans close and says, not only have I remembered, I have been preparing something even greater than you imagined. Beloved, there is a reason for the waiting. There is a reason for the last-minute shift. It is because God desires your union to be sealed not only in the sight of man, but in the deep, unshakable realm of the Spirit. And here is the part that will surprise you. The last-minute change will not simply reveal something about your future spouse. It will reveal something about you. It will call forth a strength you didn't know you had. It will awaken a deeper layer of trust in God that you thought was already complete. It will shape your faith so that, in the years ahead, you will have the courage to face storms together and not be moved, because, beloved, marriage is not only the joy of shared sunsets and laughter. It is also the refining fire of two becoming one. It is learning to choose love when life gives you reasons to choose pride. It is laying down your will when God's will is different. And so, before you take their hand at the altar, God will allow one last, unexpected moment that will seal your yes, not just to them, but to Him. It may be a sudden delay, just long enough for you to pray one more prayer. It may be a word spoken by a stranger that confirms everything. It may be the quiet, trembling sense that God Himself just walked into the room. But when it comes, you will feel it in your bones. This is not coincidence. This is the author of my story signing his name on the final page. You might not understand every detail in the moment, but one day you will look back and see how perfectly it fit into God's design. Beloved, if your heart is already sensing that this is your word, let it draw you closer to Him. Don't just wait for the moment. Prepare for it. Prepare your heart in prayer. Prepare your spirit in worship. Prepare your mind by laying down fear and letting peace take its place. The angels tell me when the moment happens there will be a hush. The air will feel thick, almost tangible, with the presence of God. Even those who do not believe will sense something beyond themselves. And afterward, they will talk about it. They will say, "Do you remember that moment? It was as if heaven touched earth." Beloved, this is the kind of mark God is placing on your marriage. Not just a memory, but a testimony. Not just an event, but an encounter. That is why you must not fear the unexpected. Instead, welcome it. It is the final gift before the beginning of your new life together. If you are hearing this, and you feel a deep stillness rising inside you, that is the Spirit reminding you, you are not walking into this alone. God is going before you. The angels are standing guard around you. And the same one who brought you to this day will see you through it. Last-minute changes and all. Beloved, I want to pause here and speak to your heart. If you have been carrying anxiety about what could go wrong, release it into God's hands. Right now, there is no need to rehearse fear when your Father is orchestrating beauty. If these words are washing over you like a gentle wave, I invite you to share in the comments how you are preparing your heart for the promise. It is a way of saying to heaven, I am ready for you to move. If you haven't yet, you can subscribe so that each new word from God's heart meets you in your quiet moments. Share this message with someone who may be facing their own last-minute change, so they can see it is not the end, but the beginning of something sacred. And if you feel led to offer a super thanks, know that your kindness helps this space remain a place of peace for many who have no one else speaking life into them. Every gift keeps the message flowing. Every prayer helps it travel further. Now breathe. Beloved, close your eyes if you can, and see it, the aisle stretching before you, the face you have been waiting for, the quiet hum of heaven's approval in the air. And then the moment comes. It catches everyone by surprise, but you know it was always part of the plan. You smile, you breathe, you step forward, knowing that the same God who surprised you in this moment will keep surprising you with His goodness for all the days ahead. Beloved soul, we have walked a long way together in this message. The angels have been speaking gently, steadily, drawing you into the understanding that what is coming is not ordinary. The wedding is set. It is not a possibility, it is a certainty written in the ink of heaven's promise. But the last-minute moment, that will be God's final touch before the chapter turns. And so, I want to take you there, into the vision the Spirit has been showing me for you. I see you, standing ready. Your heart is beating a little faster than usual, but it is not fear. It is the weight of everything this day means. The room, or the open field, or wherever God has chosen for this covenant to be made, is full of faces that have walked pieces of your journey with you. Some understand the cost of the waiting. Others see only the beauty of the moment. But heaven sees both. And then, it happens. A pause, a shift in the air, a stillness so sudden that every sound seems to fade. It could be a word, a sign, a prophetic act, or a presence so strong that you can hardly stand beneath it. It could be a tear that falls from someone you never expected to weep. It could be a small change in what you thought would happen, but it carries the unmistakable fingerprint of God. In that moment, beloved, you will know. The author has just signed His name. Every doubt you ever felt about whether you were ready, whether they were ready, whether the timing was right, it will melt like snow in the sunlight. Because this last-minute moment will not just mark your wedding day. It will mark you. It will be the kind of experience that changes the way you see every moment after it. You will walk into your marriage not just with love in your heart, but with the unshakable awareness that God Himself stood with you and sealed the covenant with His presence. And beloved, this is not just for you. This is for those watching, those who have lost faith in love, those who think God no longer writes beautiful stories, those who have quietly wondered if they are too far gone for a miracle. They will see your moment, and something in them will awaken. They will whisper to themselves, if God can do that for them, maybe He can do it for me. You will not just be walking into a marriage. You will be walking into a ministry, not one of titles or platforms, but of daily faithfulness, of showing God's goodness in the way you live and love. That is why, beloved, this final moment matters so much. It is why heaven has been so deliberate, so careful with every step of your preparation, that do not rush it. Do not fear it. Do not try to guess every detail before it comes. Instead, stay soft before Him. Stay awake to His voice. Stay willing for the unexpected to be exactly what your spirit needs, even if it shifts the order of things, even if it changes your schedule for the day. Remember, you are on God's time now, and His timing is never late. Beloved, there is a reason He is telling you this before it happens. He wants you to be ready to recognize Him in the moment. Not distracted, not lost in worry, but present, aware, full of peace. When the moment comes, you will not have to force anything. You will not have to explain anything. You will simply be, and God will do the rest. Afterward, the memory will live in you like a light that never goes out. It will become a place you return to in your heart whenever life feels heavy or uncertain. You will remember, if God could step in then, He can step in now. Beloved, this is your invitation to trust the one who writes the ending as perfectly as He writes the beginning. If you have felt His nearness in these words, I encourage you to speak your faith out loud. You can write in the comments what you are trusting Him for, so others can stand with you in prayer. If you are new here, you can subscribe so that each new word finds you right when you need it most. Share this with someone who needs to be reminded that God's timing is not only perfect, it is beautiful. And if this message has poured peace into you, and you feel led to give a super thanks, know that your support becomes part of the very way God sends these words to the hearts that need them most. It is not just a gift, it is a seed of hope for someone you may never meet. Beloved, the angels are already in place. The table of your future is already set. And when that last moment comes, you will know without a shadow of a doubt, you are standing in the middle of a miracle. Breathe it in. Hold it close. And step forward in peace. For the one who began this story will finish it in glory. Beloved soul, the vows have been spoken. The final, unexpected moment has passed, and it has left its imprint not only on the day, but on the very fabric of your life. The wedding is no longer something you are waiting for. It has become a living memory, woven with the colors of peace, joy, and the unmistakable touch of God. But heaven wants you to know, the story does not end here. That last-minute shock you experienced was not just for the beauty of the moment. It was the opening of a new chapter, a sign that your union has been marked for something greater than you realized. In the quiet after the celebration, when the music fades and the guests have gone home, there's a different kind of stillness. It is not empty. It is full of God's presence, full of the awareness that you have just stepped into a divine assignment. Marriage, beloved, is not simply about two people finding joy in one another's company. It is about reflecting the love of Christ in a world that has forgotten what true love looks like. It is about walking in unity so that heaven can flow freely through your home. It is about choosing daily faithfulness in the small moments no one else will ever see. And that last-minute moment was heaven's way of reminding you both, you are not alone in this. The angels who stood guard over your courtship, the Spirit who guided your steps toward one another, the Father who wrote your names side by side in His book, they have not stepped back now that the wedding is over. If anything, their watch over you is even closer. There will be days ahead when you will need to remember the power of that moment. Days when challenges rise unexpectedly, when misunderstanding knocks at your door, when the weight of life feels heavier than the joy of the celebration. In those times, beloved, return in your spirit to that holy pause, that shift in the air, that reminder that your marriage is more than a promise between you and your spouse. It is a covenant with God, And when a marriage is rooted in Him, every storm is only an opportunity for Him to reveal His strength. Do not be surprised if the same God who moved in the last minute at your wedding also moves in the last minute in other seasons of your life. It may be in your finances, in your health, in a decision you do not yet have the courage to make. Just as He stepped in then, He will step in again. Beloved, the key now is to build your home on the same foundation that carried you to that altar: prayer, trust, surrender. These are not just the tools that prepared you for marriage. They are the tools that will sustain it. Let the memory of that moment shape the way you live daily. When you pray together, remember how it felt to be surrounded by His presence. When you forgive one another, remember how His grace covered you both. When you dream together, remember that His plans are always higher than yours. The angels say this union is not just blessed, it is purposed. It will open doors you never imagined. It will lead you into rooms where your testimony will plant seeds in the hearts of strangers. It will quietly transform the lives of those who watch you from a distance. That is why the last-minute moment was so important. Without it, you might have gone forward thinking this was only a beautiful romance. But now you know, it is a calling. It is a light. It is a reflection of something eternal. So hold it close, beloved. Guard it well. Let your love be the kind that makes people curious about the God you serve. And when people ask about your wedding day, tell them the truth, that heaven showed up and it changed everything. Beloved, if this word has reminded you of the beauty of God's timing, write your reflections in the comments so others can be encouraged by your journey. If you are new here, subscribe so that these quiet moments of peace can continue to find you. If the message has blessed you, share it with someone who needs to be reminded that God still writes breathtaking stories. And for those who feel led, a super thanks is more than a gift. It is a way of carrying this message into hearts and homes that may have no one else speaking hope to them. Your seed becomes someone else's answered prayer. Beloved, the wedding may be behind you, but the story is far from over. The same God who surprised you at the altar will keep surprising you in the days, the months, the years to come. Walk forward together, love deeply, pray often, and keep your hearts open, for the God of last-minute miracles is not finished with you yet. Beloved soul, it has been some time since the wedding. The glow of that holy day still lingers in your heart, but now you have begun to see why God moved the way He did. That last-minute moment, the shock that caught everyone by surprise, was not meant to be remembered as a single event. It was a prophecy. It was a foretelling of the way God would walk with you in every chapter ahead. For in marriage, just as in life, there will be seasons where you reach the edge of your own understanding. Times when the clock is running down, the pressure feels unbearable, and you cannot see how the story could possibly turn toward good. But the God of last-minute miracles will meet you there, just as He did on that sacred day. The angels say, your marriage carries a spiritual mantle. It is not only for your joy, but for the strengthening of others. Every time you choose forgiveness over bitterness, patience over haste, truth over convenience, you are building an altar where God's presence can dwell. There will be couples who cross your path in the years ahead, some on the verge of giving up, some who have forgotten the reason they began, and your testimony will breathe life back into them. They will see in you what they thought no longer existed, a love covered by the hand of God, tested by time, refined by fire, and yet unbroken. Beloved, this is your ministry. You may not have asked for it, but heaven entrusted it to you when you said yes to each other. That last-minute moment at your wedding was heaven's way of sealing it, an invisible crown placed on your marriage, marking it as a light for others to find their way home. But hear this, the calling will not come without challenge. The enemy despises unity, especially when it reflects the love between Christ and His bride. He will try to sow misunderstanding, to exhaust you with Small irritations to whisper lies about your worth, to stir fear about your future, that do not give him ground, that remember the moment. Remember the shift in the air. Remember how God stepped in when there was no time left. That memory is a weapon in your hand, a reminder that you are not building this marriage alone. Beloved, you must guard your union with prayer, not only when trouble comes, but in the quiet days when peace seems unshakable, for it is in those days that roots grow deep. And deep roots can withstand any storm. The angels are still near. They have not stopped circling your home, watching over your steps, guiding you toward places and people you have yet to meet. You will be surprised by the doors God opens for you, opportunities to share your story. Moments where your presence in a room changes the atmosphere. Times when your words land in a heart like rain on dry ground. And when those moments come, you will feel the same quiet awe you felt on your wedding day. That sense that heaven has just brushed past you, reminding you that you are living inside a divine story. Beloved, I want you to hold this truth. God does not just bless beginnings, He blesses middles. He blesses endings. He blesses every chapter in between. The last minute miracle at your wedding was only the first page of a long book, and you will turn each page together, hand in hand, under the same covering that brought you to the altar. If you have felt His presence in these words, I invite you to write in the comments how God has shown up for you in your own last-minute moments. It may be the very testimony someone else needs to keep going. If you are new here, subscribe so these words of peace and faith can meet you in your own quiet spaces. Share this message with someone whose marriage, engagement, or heart needs to be reminded that God still steps in right on time. And if the Spirit leads you to give a super thanks, know that your seed keeps this space open for every weary heart who needs to be reminded that heaven is still speaking. It is not just support, it is partnership in the work of God's encouragement. Beloved, the wedding was beautiful. The last-minute shock was holy. But the real miracle is this: you are still walking in the same presence today. And the God who began this good work will not stop until it is complete. Beloved one, we are now standing at the closing of this sacred journey together. Your heart has walked the long path of waiting, praying, and surrendering. You have been guided through whispers, confirmations, and unexpected shifts. You have seen the way God rearranged circumstances, moved people, and shifted your own understanding so that you would be ready for this moment. And now, here we are. The air around you feels weightless, as if heaven itself is holding its breath. The wedding is set. The guests are gathered. Every detail has been wrapped in divine precision. Yet, the angels lean in closer, because they know there's still one last thing that will unfold. The final heaven-ordained pause before the music begins. Before you take that first step toward the altar, you feel it, a stillness so deep it nearly stops time. It's as if God Himself wants to speak into your heart one more time. This isn't doubt. This isn't fear. It is heaven's final seal. In that silence, you hear Him. My child, the vows you are about to make will echo in eternity. This is not just a day. This is a covenant I am joining. Do not only see the beauty, see the weight, the holiness, the glory of what I am binding together. A vision in the Spirit, and then something happens that no one else sees. Your eyes lift, and for a moment, you see it in the Spirit. Angels lining the aisle, standing in radiant rows. Some are holding white lily, some are holding golden trumpets, and others are simply watching with a joy so pure it could break your heart open. They are here not as spectators, but as witnesses to the covenant. For in heaven's courts, this wedding is not a simple exchange of rings. It is a joining of destinies, a merging of callings, and the birth of a legacy that will ripple far beyond your own lifetime. The unexpected last-minute guest, just when you think the moment can't get any more intense, the final door opens at the back of the gathering. A person you have not seen in years walks in quietly. Someone whose absence in your life was painful. Someone who once doubted you, or maybe even hurt you. They do not come to interrupt. They come to witness. And in their eyes you see something that makes your spirit tremble, a silent apology and a blessing. It is as if God waited until the last possible moment to restore something inside you, so you could walk forward with a heart that is fully healed. Heaven's benediction. The music begins. You take the first step, and with each movement forward, it feels as if heaven is releasing a fresh wave of grace over you. The angels move in rhythm with your steps. Your breath slows, your soul steadies. And as you finally reach the altar, the one you love is standing there, eyes full of holy tears. You take their hands. You hear the words, "Dearly beloved." But in your spirit, you hear another voice, louder, stronger, eternal. "What I have joined together, no one will ever tear apart. This is my doing. This is my glory. This is my love over you." And you realize the shocking last-minute thing was not a disruption. It was a completion. God wanted you to know, beyond all doubt, that this wedding is not just a day in your life. It is a chapter in His eternal story.